Okay, so today we decided to do something a little bit different. Instead of me coming on to teach about a various topic, we decided that we would invite Sophie in, who is from On Track Studio, where we are filming this, but also helps with the marketing side of my business. And so, yeah, Sophie's going to ask me some questions so that I can give you a little bit more insight in terms of me personally and how I operate these businesses or my business background or things that I love in the world. And this is actually a two-part series because as we got into it, we went a little longer than we thought we were going to. So, yeah. Hello and welcome to the Profit and Cash Flow Mastery podcast. I'm your host, Gavin Smith from The Profit Analyst. And in this podcast, I'm going to be showing you how simple, easy, and more important, how practical numbers can actually be for you as a small business owner. I have a pretty extensive finance career and background, but more importantly and more relevant to you is I'm a small business owner myself. I've built multiple businesses from startups and turnarounds through to 7 and even 8-figure plus businesses. And what I've learned along that journey is how to make numbers really simple and easy and practical and how to use them to guide you in your business strategies. And ultimately, that's what I now love doing. I love teaching other business owners how to make the numbers simple and easy so they can gain real clarity about their numbers. I love showing them how to identify what numbers actually matter in your business. But more importantly, I show you how to use your numbers so that you can make better decisions, which ultimately leads to better profitability, better cash flow, and growing and scaling businesses. So let's dive into it.
Well, Gav, I'm just going to straight up begin with getting you to explain your recent achievement, the black belt from black belt. Yeah. Firstly, maybe you can explain what that actually is to the people who aren't savvy.
Okay, so the black belt is just like an ascension award system in a coaching program I'm in. So I'm a coach for people, but I'm in their coaching program myself getting coached, and the coach I'm in is the coach for coaches. So there's literally hundreds of people in that group who are coaches of coaches. So Tucky Moore is the guy, it's his program. He's called the $1 Million Coach because his whole thing is I will help you build $1 million coaching business. Kudos to him because he did. For me, it worked. Yeah. And it's taken just under 4 years in his program to be able to do it. When you're in his program, the black belt thing is basically there's colored belts for each level. So you can join the program when you're doing 10K per month as a coaching business, and then you're a white belt. And then when you become 20K a month, you're a yellow belt and orange and green and blue, etc., and so on as you build your way up. So, yeah, I've been in his program for 3.5 years, getting coached along the way about building my coaching program, which has been awesome because it's been a real great unpacking of marketing and sales and systems, etc. And yeah, for me, this is the third business I've now built to a 7-figure business. It's my first time doing it with a coaching business. Yeah, I've utilized coaches in all of my businesses. Strongly believe in getting coaching for business, for personal, for whatever it is. Like you can either learn through framework or learn through your own pain and slow efforts of trial and getting there. And so I'm very much a believer in jumping into coaching programs where you get an instant leg up. And yeah, so anyhow, the short version, I've just made it to the black belt in Tucky's coaching program, which means I've now successfully built $1 million coaching business.
Woohoo! Such an achievement. It's actually so cool that you've done it in such a small amount of time.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like when I started out, it's kind of, for me, I always have forecast models of numbers.
Yeah.
And I'd made a forecast model that said how I was going to go from zero to $1 million coaching business in 5 years. And I had the numbers journey mapped out, and it was like right at the beginning it was like, this is possible. I can see the pathway. But then obviously you don't focus on the 5 years. You just focus on this month or this quarter, and you're working on whatever your next right thing is. And it's great when you hit these milestones because we actually get to stop and pull back and look big picture and be like, it happened. And this was the plan I said was going to happen, and those were the numbers I mapped out. And the exciting part now is like I've reached this point and it's what comes next. What's the next goal?
Yeah.
And so through Tucky's program, I was able to 10x a business from 10K to 100K months. And I want to 10x again in terms of this business, not for chasing the dollars, but because I'm just so excited by the impact that's actually making. Absolutely. So something that really drives our business. For me, making a business owner more profitable is not the goal. It's making a business owner successful. And by successful, I mean a business which isn't going under, which isn't going broke, which isn't failing, because more than half the businesses out there fail within 5 years. It's a real serious thing. And when a business fails, it's not just the owner that loses everything. It's like all of their employees, their suppliers, the people that were relying on that business. So I love the fact that when we help a business be successful, we're not only helping the owner, it's like the ongoing ripple effect of that. It's their average 10 employees or 20 employees, and then their families and so on. And so when I'm looking at 10xing the business again, what excites me about that is the ripple effect of that is now going to like directly impact like 10,000 people's livelihoods. And
Absolutely.
That's our next goal over 5 years. So that's what we're aiming for now.
Yeah, it's awesome. What ratio do you think the reaching this goal, this milestone of $1 million, was thanks to like Tucky and the coaching, and thanks to like the tools that you use, obviously the CFO system that you've built?
Yeah. So, and it hasn't just been Tucky either. Like I have done other coaching programs along the way.
True, yeah.
So the beauty of my system, my CFO system, is it helps me to have total financial clarity about my numbers in terms of always being able to identify exactly where I am, where I want to go to big picture, but where I want to go to short term as well. And I can see basically numbers always can show you what is the current constraint we're facing. Then I can work out how to solve it, and I can see how much profit is on the other side of solving that constraint. So through my system with this journey, I've always been able to identify this is a people issue. I need leadership coaching right now. This is a leads issue. I need marketing coaching right now, or messaging coaching. Or this is actually a sales issue. I need sales coaching. And my system, this is why it's worked in not only this business, but my other 2 businesses which I've owned, which have also grown and scaled, because the numbers always help me see what I'm trying to solve. And it gives me that confidence of, okay, here's where I am. I can confidently afford to invest in this support or this strategy or this next right move, this hire or whatever it is to go in the next step. So I think, well, just by virtue of knowing and using the numbers really well, it puts me on the other side of that stat of business failure rate. It puts me on the successful side of business not going under and being able to grow and scale along the journey. So what percentage is like, none of us are self-made, I don't think, in doing this.
Yeah.
We rely on other people's systems and tools, and it's finding the right people. And so Tucky's program has helped me build a coaching business, and that's kind of the big picture goal I've been working on, and having those clear guidelines. And he's now helping me reset my goalposts and map out the strategy for the next thing. He's not just the $1 million coach, he's the multi-million dollar coach as well, when you look at the people he's helped. And he's helping with that next step of the journey. But there's been not only my system helping me with numbers, but there's been other coaches and programs and things I've utilized along the journey as well.
So it's like filling in where the knowledge gap is for you, but it's like the numbers are showing you, say, for example, you're not getting enough leads, then you know, okay, I need to put my effort into leads, and that could look like a budget, or it could look like a training on how to do that. It could look like hiring someone. It's like, you know exactly what you need to do, and then based on your own self-assessment, it's like, okay, well, how do we do that?
Yeah, and I think my approach is I have like quite a growth mindset approach to life in general, or specifically applied to business. It's always like just looking at it, it's that whole you never fail. You either learn or you grow.
Yes.
And it's like the failures are just learning things. Okay, that doesn't work for me. I need to try something else. And I'm always looking at results, numbers, and being able to see, okay, that worked or it didn't work.
Yeah.
And where can we optimize, and what did work, and let's double down on that. And that doesn't work, so let's try something new.
Yeah.
And if I'm ever feeling stuck, I go looking for answers in that space. Who can help me with this? What will solve this problem? What kind of people or system or education do I need in this space to keep growing the business?
Yeah, okay. So my question, this is like just off the top of my head now, is you've obviously grown a lot of businesses now, and what do you think are the 3 or 4 to 5 core pillars that you need to know? I'm guessing one's obviously financial.
Yeah.
But what do you think the other components actually are?
Well, I'll start with numbers, of course.
Yeah.
Why numbers are so important is because business is a game of numbers, essentially. It's about making the numbers work. If you're not profitable, your business isn't going to be around long term. That's just fact, right? If you're not making a profit, the business can't grow. It's going to go bust. However, cash flow is very important as well, because if we drill into the failure rates of businesses, so many of them were profitable on paper, but it was cash flow was the reason they failed. So you need to be able to understand profit, but you also need to be able to understand cash flow and how those two things work hand in hand. And then in terms of other areas that I think are really key, I think the people aspect of business can't be underrated as well. It's such a huge factor. Like if you want to grow and scale, you're going to have people involved in your business team. You know, there might be employees, there might be contractors, however it works. But to be able to get the most out of people, having, what I reference as a high-performing team is fundamental. You can't grow and scale a business with an average team or a team that's not aligned well. So, developing your leadership skills, or again, at least having a framework to follow around how to get people aligned and working on the same thing, and being able to just simple things from coaching them to debriefing things to being able to have regular conversations. Incredibly important if you want to grow and scale a business and have other people involved in it. The marketing side of business is really important as well, because not many businesses get to grow fast purely just based on like the organic side. We're really good, and word of mouth is enough that we need to grow our business. So understanding how marketing works in terms of not just, I often see people like, I want to do marketing, so I'll just go and engage somebody to run my social media. That's not marketing. Like, that's one small tactic that may not even be the right tactic for you. It's being able to think strategic about marketing, and in the context of numbers, again, to be able to do it. How much, if I'm investing in this marketing, what are we trying to achieve, and what is that going to do for us in terms of ultimately more profit coming into the business? How much we're investing in marketing, which is going to grow sales, but then I'm going to have to service that work. But do I end up making profit at the end of the day? Understanding that loop, which probably comes back more so to understanding numbers again. But
yeah, it does. Yeah,
these are kind of the key things. And when I look at like most people's businesses that come into my world, I have this profit formula framework where I can basically understand how any business is making profit and see the different components of it. I would say 90% of the businesses that I look at, particularly when they're already established and at a certain size, we can kind of already rule out which parts we want to focus on and which parts we can focus on to make change. Generally, people have overheads, rent, and even team to a certain extent locked in.
Yeah.
And so the real variables we can play with are pricing, volume, how busy we are, our capacity to service it. And then so we're looking at maybe the key cost component of delivering it might be the only thing in terms of understanding cost. And then the only other component in this is the marketing spend. And like, what are we investing to grow that volume capacity thing? And it's just really a game of understanding these headline numbers. Like, okay, and this is where I say like 90% of businesses that come into my world are like this. When we look at them, say, oh, great, you've already built a system. It's there. If you were busier, you would be making way more profit. You can afford to invest this much. And yes, you might have to get more teams or whatever it is as you ratchet up. But it's kind of this game of just how do we scale up now? And when you know this kind of simple equation and the numbers and how they're going to work, you can literally map out the layers or the steps that we just need to go through in terms of playing this game of understanding the key variables to be able to take a business from just keeping its head above water to taking it to the next level where it's like, this is actually a really profitable, flourishing business. If you're a business owner who is struggling to see results, or you're overwhelmed by the numbers side of your business, we can help. Book in a call with one of my team members using the link in the description, and let's get your business thriving without the overwhelm.
Yeah, a key thing I hear from your clients is that they realize that with this much more spend, there's this much more profit, and I'm using my hands for the people listening, but it's just like, once you reach that like threshold point, and then all of the money goes into the bottom line of the business. And I think that's really a transformation I hear from all of your clients.
And the reason it's a common trap though is because, first of all, people don't have financial clarity. So they just can't see how close they are or how easy it is to focus on those right areas. And without financial clarity, they've built a business to a certain level where they've just got their head above water. It's like we're just scraping by. We're just making enough profit to pay for things. So it's like when I come along and be like, okay, you just need 1 or 2 more hires or a bit more spend in marketing or a bit more invested into this process to refine that, whatever the key thing is going to be. Without clarity, people are way too scared to do that. And they're like, no way, I've just got my head above water. I can't do anything like that.
Literally in survival mode, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Survival mode, yeah. But when I give people financial clarity and they can actually see what's going on, and then I can prove to them, well, by investing in this or investing in that, you are going to unlock your business's true profit potential. It's like you're so close to it. Just these 1 or 2 steps are going to take you to the next level, which are just fundamentally game-changing for you and your business. That's the profit conversation. Also, when people have clarity around their cash flow and what resources they have, then I can also prove to them, like, look, this is the size of the investment or the move you need to make. And looking at your current position, you can see how much can you actually afford to invest. What kind of risk? We don't want to put the whole business at risk. We just need to be able to make a small calculated risk that isn't going to damage us in any way. And when we understand our financial position and our cash flow really well, and we have a clear idea from profit and profit formula about what we're aiming for, we can use these two things hand in hand to be like, look, this isn't it's not as scary a decision as you think it's going to be.
It's scarier to do what you're currently doing, really.
Exactly, yeah.
Like that's how it comes out in the end.
And basically it starts with just getting that financial clarity about these two things to start with, and then it actually becomes really obvious what's the next right move and why I'm going to do it, and that's what's going to get us there.
Yeah,
That's that process I'm always talking about in terms of like, get financial clarity first. This gives you confidence to make better moves and decisions. The outcome of that is what everybody wants, which is profit and cash flow growth. Yeah. So financial clarity first, then you have confidence. Then you're able to make the decisions to get you where you want to go to.
Totally. So how did you celebrate this big milestone of reaching
the black belt milestone?
Yeah.
So mildly embarrassing, but
perfect.
In my relationship, we have date days once a month, and we get to alternate whose choice it is, and just coincided that it was my choice for the month to choose what we're going to do. And because I'd reached a milestone that I'd been aiming for a few years, it was like, all right, I'm literally going to do exactly what I do for the day. And so there were two elements to it, and it's kind of two ends of the spectrum, you would say.
Two ends of your personality.
Maybe, yeah. So we spent the day at Wet n Wild on the Gold Coast.
Iconic.
I am a big water slide fan. I don't know where that comes from. Childhood dreams of just loving water slides and then living in places in the world with water parks and going to them. So went to Wet n Wild, water slides all day, which was super fun. And then on the other end of the scale, we got a fancy hotel room and got bottles of Dom Perignon champagne. Mwah. And had a hotel room with a giant bathtub that we could sit in a bathtub drinking Dom straight out of the bottle. Why Dom, I think, actually goes back to some kind of childhood fantasy of listening to rap songs or something, that Dom Perignon was how the billionaires celebrated. And just to be an absolute baller, I thought I had to drink Dom Perignon out of the bottle in a bathtub. Yeah. And so it was actually a long-term joke of like, when I hit that, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah. And then it happens. Then I was like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And we did it. And that's why it's like super funny that, either end of the social spectrum of hanging out at Wet n Wild for the day.
Sophisticated and also a child.
Exactly. Yeah. And then it's like, this is not my lifestyle, just to be clear. I'm not a not hanging out in fancy hotels. It was just how I wanted to celebrate this as a bit of a joke. So
no, I back it. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my next question. Mm-hmm. Tell me a specific time that you, like, I'm talking specific context of what the decision actually was, a specific time where you made a decision from the CFO system, but at that time it was against your gut feeling and it paid off.
Oh, okay. The situation that actually comes to mind, and it's very counter probably what advice I give to a lot of other people to do, but when I'm looking at profitability, right, I use this profit formula and I go a layer deeper where I understand the different variables, price, volume, cost of sales, marketing, like these key elements that make up somebody's profitability. With regards to my own program, when I was first starting out on this journey of building the coaching business, it was kind of like putting more and more into it and therefore charging higher and higher prices, but in a way that was kind of like alienating who I could work with to an extent, because the businesses were having to be bigger and bigger to justify the price tag for all the value I was putting into it. Yeah. And we had a moment where I was like, it's now not feeling right. It's now not helping the people I actually wanted to help. And it was kind of pushing me into this level of higher businesses, I guess, bigger businesses, which wasn't really what I wanted to achieve with this business. And so I had that backflip in terms of like actually, basically I cut the price of the program into a quarter. It basically dropped it from where it was to like 25% of the price with all the same inclusions in there, just worked out how to do things more efficiently in the background and set things up for people so that more and more people could sign up to the program and it could have more impact essentially. And that's one of those moments where it was like, income is made up of your price and volume, and if your price is this high, whatever. But we were kind of looking at the numbers, and it was like, this, first of all, this isn't sitting right. So it was one of those decisions that did align with values. But then through numbers, we could actually prove, well, if we can deliver this program in this format, this fast, this many people, we can afford to make the price 1/4 the price and have 4 times the audience coming in and still have the same revenue and the same business system would work and stuff. And so that was a big move that we played out, and we did have confidence in our numbers that it was going to be the right move.
Yeah.
Both emotionally and values-wise as well as numbers-wise at the end of the day in terms of how the business would work. And it was a game changer because it's meant the business is able to have a much bigger impact, a bigger reach, and it's what's helped us break through one of those scaling ceilings that we hit along the journey.
Yeah, I think that definitely makes sense because like gut feel for a lot of people is like, this is worth so much, and you're so emotionally attached to the business, and you can justify that.
And everybody else around me was like, your prices are too cheap, you're doing all of that, you should be charging more. And so I kind of was naturally going down that way, and I went down that path too far before I realized it wasn't sitting right and needed to change it. And
you could just look at your numbers and just be like, oh, actually this is how to make what I want happen, as opposed to just flow with what you're being told. Yeah. I think another thing I probably do through, again, understanding my profit formula and profit calculator, is I'm probably investing in the next level of service or the next support structure, be that coaching program or be it service provider to come in and help the business level up. I'm probably always almost to my own detriment on the front foot of doing that. Yeah. Because I can always see the numbers and I want to keep the business scaling to the next level. And so I'm probably investing a little bit faster than I should in terms of growing and scaling the business. But it kind of keeps me, I mean, on the flip side, it's what's helped a business go from $0 to $1 million in 3.5 years. And again, I'm wanting it to keep on growing and scaling to have that bigger impact. And it's through having confidence with my profit formula, I can always see, again, like what is the constraint I want to solve? All right, let's invest to solve it because that'll take the business to the next level. Yeah. So I'm probably always on the front foot with investing in the things that are going to help me level up. And I definitely would say I do that a lot faster than the average business does. Because of the confidence.
The confidence that the numbers give me about where I'm going.
Yeah. So you personally are like never actually feeling these milestones because you're always reinvesting, but probably, you're just sort of seeing it in the numbers. Yeah. That's cool though.
Which is why the black belt thing was great as a reminder of, I have actually crossed this thing I was aiming for. Yeah. Because you keep shifting the goalposts of what you're aiming for, and you don't, you need to have
those moments. Yeah,
something that you tick over that you realize that, we should stop and celebrate this.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. All right. So next question. What really frustrates you about how most business owners manage their finances?
Oh, well, if we're saying most business owners, we would say 90% of business owners out there basically just bury their head in the sand when it comes to numbers. Yeah. And that obviously really frustrates me because it's a direct correlation to why of all the businesses that failed, 90% of them were because of finance decisions. Yes. Like that's what unwinds everybody. Yet the marketplace, the common thing is to like, I don't like numbers because whatever bullshit story from when you were at high school that I sucked at numbers or something that you've carried into being a business owner. And then, you just never engage them and you think you can rely on somebody else to do all of that for you. And that just creates this trap basically where people get stuck thinking that the numbers is not something they're ever going to tackle or engage in. And I can delegate the finance to somebody else and that'll take care of it. And it's why so many businesses fail because of financial things, because people don't take ownership for it. Yeah, the amount of people who just think they can ignore the numbers side of the business or leave it to somebody else. Yeah. And that leaving it to somebody else is like, I have a great bookkeeper. That's good. They do data entry. They care about one transaction at a time. They don't care about the big picture of the business. Or I have a great accountant. My accountant handles the finance. The accountant handles the compliance. They do your tax return, your BAS return, keep you ticking the boxes with the government so that you stay out of jail. They are not in your business making day-to-day decisions. Should I hire somebody, invest in this, do this? They don't care if you make a 10% profit margin or a 20% profit margin. They're still just going to charge you the same amount for your tax return at the end of the year. Your accountant doesn't handle the finances from a commercial perspective day-to-day. Is your business successful, yes or no? That's you as the business owner. And if you want your business to be profitable and successful, you need to take ownership for it. Mm-hmm. I had a great conversation with a lady yesterday. She's doing my program. She's got a successful business here on the Sunshine Coast. She's turning over $3.5 million a year in what she does, making pretty low profit margins though. And she was struggling to necessarily find the motivation to engage in a program because her business is making her a decent profit margin already. And so she's kind of comfortable in life.
Yeah.
But she wants to retire in 3 years' time from now. And so I was talking to her about, well, based on how your business is performing now, this is what you'll likely receive as an exit in a couple of years from now. Or if we could dial up the profit margin here, here, and here, and she has massive profit potential in her business that she's not unlocking by not paying attention to the numbers. And I proofed just 2 or 3 things to her, which were basically going to double or triple her profit.
Wow.
And then it was like, what that is going to do to the size of your exit in 3 years from now was, life-changing for her in terms of what the exit valuation is going to be. And it was like, I don't know, I guess the frustration is that I need to actually get involved with somebody, prove to them how much money they're leaving on the table, and then show them how life-changing that is going to be to them before they're like, oh, okay, I'll start paying attention to numbers now, and that is actually really important. And it's kind of like, I guess some people are just making a margin enough to be comfortable, and they think, well, I'm not really money driven, or I don't need any more, so I don't need to go on. And same with this person. She's not money driven, and that was kind of part of her story was I'm not money driven. But this lady is actually very philanthropic. She does a lot of things on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah, right.
In terms of her sponsorship. And I was like proving to her, okay, you might not necessarily be money driven, but you could be making 3 times the amount of money just on an ongoing basis and a 3 times bigger exit. And the impact you could be making through your charities could be 3 times the size. And that really drew the dots for her around, wow, my not engaging with the numbers is actually preventing me from having a way bigger impact in what I want to do. And it was just a real light bulb moment for her. And she was able to I can see how hungry she is, and she's already back more engaged and asking questions and going through the program and having those light bulb moments and stuff, which is great to see.
Yeah, totally.
So coming back to the sentence, what frustrates me, I guess, is, just people turning a blind eye to the numbers side of their business, because 2 ends of the spectrum, 1, they're putting themselves at massive risk of a business failure by doing so, or 2, that maybe they're just not making the potential out of their business, what they could be. And that doesn't necessarily have to be about money. It can be about the impact of what the business can create and go on and do for other good deeds beyond just the business.
Yeah, totally. It's such a good point. It's really cool. I'm happy for her.
All right, we're just going to pause it there so that this isn't too long, and we'll do the second half of this episode next week.